Hey guys, I'm so frustrated to even say this, but I have to record an entire story time over, which I would love to know how many YouTubers have probably had to do this because holy crap, it is the most frustrating thing in the world. I was cleaning out my photo gallery and I wasn't paying attention, chasing my 4-year-old, and deleted all my videos, which deleted off my editing app, which deleted off of YouTube, which I did not even realize that was a chain effect. And I have a couple friends that really wanted to even see that video. So I am hoping that this story time is even half as good as the first time I took my time and edited the whole thing and uploaded it, and it was up there for almost 2 days. But I tell you, my frustration level is just like, it's on a Monday right now. It's definitely a Monday. So my story is, as you see with the title, is a roommate horror story. Now, I was inspired by my 2 favorite YouTubers for the moment, which I'm not saying they would not be next week or next month, but I'm living for them right now, which is Jessica Kent and Christina Randall. They have this story time way of just kind of putting all their skeletons out there and stuff that they've been through that they are not so proud of. Now, they share like a lot of... I have been super inspired by them lately. What? I'm gonna try to get through this video. Oh my god. Anyways, I just want to tell this story because sometimes I think about it. Oh my god, and the sun's going down, y'all. I cannot today. Like, oh my god, I can't do it anymore. It was such a good video. I did really good on it. You know what I mean? And my hair has a mask in it, so it's like, it's looking kind of crazy. My hair looked super pretty the first one too. So, okay, let's go back. I'm 31 now. It was when I was about 19. A good friend of mine had to move out of state. I was 19, and she called me and was like, listen, I know you want to get out of your dad's house. Like, you want your first place. I was with a guy since I was 18, which isn't very long, but I was with him for a long time anyway. And she was like, how about this? Like, I need somebody to take over my lease. So you guys move in. I will roll over my security deposit. You don't have to worry about a credit check and backgrounds and all that. So it's like, here's hand delivered this really nice townhouse for like $800 a month. It was crazy. So I jumped on the chance. So before we moved in, we thought, oh my god, we should probably get a roommate because, you know, $800 a month is steep. That's like really good rent now, but you know, I was 19, so bear with me. So anyway, to help cover expenses, we're like, let's get a roommate. So we always, I don't know, we didn't want to get anybody super close to us, but we heard a friend of a friend needed a place, and I don't know, I didn't want to judge a book by its cover, or like, I knew he had kind of a checkered past or whatever, but we called him and we were like, listen, we have this townhouse, it's, you know, it's got 2 bedrooms, 2.5 baths, like, we heard you were looking for a place. And I'll never forget this because it was something that stuck in my memory. But he was just like, you're singing my song. I don't know why, like, weird things like stick in your memory that probably aren't really critical to the situation. But I just remember thinking that was such an odd statement. And he was like, yeah, we really need a place. Like, I can't wait to move in. Like, I got this. Money ain't a thing. He was like a rapper, little gangsta, whatever. And like, I don't want to judge anybody on their past, but you know what? When it comes to your home, judge the fuck out of them. Like, judge them, okay? Like, if this is your safety, okay? I know it says, like, don't have friends as your roommates because it could sabotage. Like, I don't know about strangers because that might not be the best option either. Okay? Example A, this story. So, we all moved in. Everything was fine. And I remember, like, he, you know, he started getting like really fussy really quick. He was like 5'0". No offense to like shorter guys, but they do tend to be a little feistier. And we would get in like these knockdown, drag out fights. Like, I'd be this close to his face, like we'd be screaming, and it'd be like in the middle of the night. And my ex at the time worked nights, so like I would be alone, and sometimes even alone with him, like fighting these battles. Which now looking back at it, I'm like, oh my god, like that was so dangerous. I don't know. My husband kind of knows who he is, and he's just like, he ain't got nothing to worry about, like, whatever. But, like, look at the size of my husband and me. Like, you never know. Like, it's, you know, he's crazy. So we would get in like trivial arguments or whatever. And I remember I had two rules when they moved in. And I was like, don't get pregnant and don't bring a puppy in, because I knew my responsibility level and it wasn't that great. Like, I was 19. I wanted to be selfish. Like, I didn't want kids running around. Like, I wasn't going to be no big drug user or a big partier, but I knew it wasn't going to be an environment for a baby or a pregnant girl. And I didn't want puppy poop everywhere. Like, I have a dog. Like, I know how this works, you know? It was like, yeah, that's fine. Well, here's my rules. Here's like these 10 people you can't invite, which was so funny because like 5 of them were people that, like, those were the reason why I knew him, were through those people. So I thought, okay, that's weird. You know, all these red flags. I remember like one time, like, he couldn't keep a job. Another red flag. One time, to the point that, like, I think it was like 10 o'clock in the morning, which for 19, you're like, oh, who's there? Cop knocking on our door, flipping out. He had worked for like a carpet shampoo company, and they're banging on the door and they're like rushing and they're like, give us our shampoos, give us our truck. Like, you lied on your application. We looked up your background. Like, he is going to steal from you. Like, don't you ever pull that with us. You're not stealing our equipment. I mean, they came, I was like, damn, like, okay, like, y'all are passing judgment hard AF, but okay, you know what? Maybe they were right. Maybe that's something they had experienced before. All I know is I was taken aback by it. So I was like, great, yet another job he can't keep, you know? And again, I feel bad because some people really do change or whatever, but this is another person that was like in and out of the system. He definitely was a product of his environment. Anyway, it's like his family was a little crazy. We'll get to that in another story, but this was such a short period of my life. So it was only 8 months. I'm 31 now, but I still remember, like, we live in a big city, but like, no matter where you move and how many things you change, you still hear about certain people, right? I remember getting up in the middle of the night. Like I said, my ex had worked nights. And I remember getting up in the middle of the night and going downstairs, and I heard like people talking. I mean, they had people there all the time, you know, just like chilling, smoking, whatever. But I saw him selling out of the front door to like a random, like, and it wasn't Mary Jane, if you know what I'm saying. Like, this was a little bit harder of stuff. And I was like, okay, that's it. Like, that's it. Like, I'm not going to jail for anybody. I wouldn't go to jail for my boyfriend at the time. Like, nah, I ain't going to jail for some guy that I fight with every morning, you know? So I flipped out. Like, that was it for me. That was the final straw. I talked to my dad like every day. And here's another weird thing I look back at. Me and my dad were not even close at this point. I was a teenager. So it's like, I knew everything. You're not like best friends with your parents yet kind of age, right? Maybe you are. I wasn't. I was a rebellious teenager, which you guys will hear all about. So I remember like talking to my dad every single day. Every day I lived there. And that was like a sign to me. It's like my dad knew. The first time he met my roommate, he just looked at me and was like, oh no. Oh no, like, this is bad news. And I just like, whatever now. Like, I know he's got kind of a rough appearance, but I just need him to pay his bills. I'm not trying to marry him, you know. And, you know, you got to listen to your parents sometimes. Like, as I'm 31 and I'm like, gosh, I should have listened to my parents. So many other lessons come creeping right back up. So I remember after finding out what he was doing at our front door, like, don't even come in the foyer all the way and shut it behind him. Like, legit was making the sale right there in the doorway. I just have to be really careful what I say because, you know, ears are always listening. So I called my dad, told him about it, and I'm telling you, like a superhero he is, my dad had us moved out within 8 hours. Like, stuff packed, we were out of there. It's like he was waiting for that call. He pulled up with a U-Haul and was like, come on, let's wrap it up. Like, let's get out of here. By then, like, he, you know, here comes Mr. Roommate, and he's yelling at me, and he's yelling at my dad, and he's F this and F that, and my dad's yelling back. But then I'm just like, you know what, he's not even worth it. Like, this is not worth it to me. I went to the real estate company, and I was like, listen, this is bad news. I want out of it, even though it was gift wrapped to me, which at 19 is not easy to come by. So they were like, it's okay. You can sign yourself out of this lease. It was the 3 of y'all. And so I signed my name, my ex signed his name, and it was supposed to be all left to him. Mind you, we had to turn in our house key and our mail key. We weren't allowed within 100 yards of the property per his request. And so we were like, cool, bro. Like, we never want to come back anyway. Like, I already had to tell my friend about how I did it, like how bad I felt about this situation. Like, sorry about that townhouse you gave me, and I totally screwed it up. But I just want to get out of there. I just wanted to, like, move on past that. Well, he never even paid any more bills. after. And they tried to stick me with the eviction. And I was like, mm-mm. They were like, well, he never signed his part, so it wasn't valid. Oh, well, that's not my fault. You know what I mean? Like, I wasn't even allowed over there. No mail keys, no 100 yards, all that. No, like, you're not going to stick me with that. Needless to say, I never got the eviction. They tried it. They lost. Anyway. Oh, mind you, so say we moved in August. By like, let's see, yeah, about October, she was pregnant and they had a pit bull puppy. Y'all, I look back at these times and I'm just like, what? Like, how did you get here? How did you were so stupid. Like, 19, you're kind of dumb. Like, no offense to young people, but you know what I'm saying? You're kind of dumb. I still have dumb times. But that was real dumb. That was real dumb. So, I probably why I don't trust people now. I had a meme on Facebook that was like a picture of Clint Eastwood, and it was like, I don't bring milkshakes to my yard because I don't have milkshakes because I don't want anybody in my yard, right? And I tagged my husband's name in it because I was like, he thinks it's so me because he thinks I'm not friendly, but guess what? It's because I'm not, because I don't trust anybody. Like, trust has been gone. Like, it started young, you know? From situations like this. Like, I'm not trying to know every neighbor, which there's enough stories about that. So anyways, flash forward to like 5 years later, I'm just watching the news, drinking coffee, being grown or whatever, and his face pops up on the news. And I'm like, what's he doing? And they were like, wanted or whatever. A day later, it was wanted for attempted murder, robbery with a deadly weapon, burglary or something, weapon possessed by a felon, which we all know if you already are a felon and they catch you with a gun, honey, you going away. Like, you going away and it ain't gonna be no 1 year stay, you know? So he has all these charges or whatever, and they finally find him. He's like on a bicycle in a really shady area of our city. And this is what I heard. Now, I don't know if this is true. I don't know anything about it, so I ain't running to nobody to say nothing, but through the people in my city, like, we live in a big city, but it's also really small if you've lived here a long time. Like, everybody kind of knows everybody. Like, even if you don't want to hear about it, you hear about it, kind of thing. Well, I heard that the bicycle they found him on actually belonged to a missing girl that had been missing for like 2 weeks. She was a cocktail waitress, and they're actually like still trying to pin him with that. Right now, I looked up his information for this video, and it's like his release date is not until like 2047. And I mean, yeah, the bicycle thing, yeah, could just be a creepy story. You know, he may not have hurt that girl that they ended up finding her body. Anyways, but the attempted murder, the robbery with a deadly weapon, like, these are all things that have happened, and his past on top of that, which he did a 3 to 5, you know, stint for or whatever. So it just makes me think, like, you were in his face alone in the apartment, just screaming at him, like, everything I could think of. Like, he made my blood boil. And then I find out things like this 5 years later, and I'm just like, oh my God, like, how stupid was I? Like, what do you think? What do I think I was? Some kind of, you know what I mean? Like, I was going to take this grown man down. Like, you don't think about it when you're so angry. You just click. You know what I mean? Like, you just feel, I don't know, you just see red. So I see a lot of like horror stories, roommate stories, and I've watched some of them. So I'm not going to like say, oh, this one gave me the idea, because there's plenty out there. But there's some out there that's like, she stole my peanut butter. She was lying about her class schedule, in our dorm, which, you know, that's great. If that's like the worst you got it, like, that's great, you know. But it did inspire me to think about, oh, I wish it was just stolen peanut butter, y'all. I wish. But instead, he might be an actual psycho killer. So let me know if you like this story. I got plenty more. I'm so sorry for all the people that have already heard this story, because I had it up for a couple days and I only had a couple, you know, maybe 20 or so views on it. But oh my God, that's so frustrating. So like, subscribe. I have another story coming up about how I was followed by the DEA when I was 17. Super cute. Let me tell you, I knew how to pick them back then. My boyfriend choices, superb. So yeah, let me know what else you guys want to hear. Like, subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.